Hi everyone, George DeSantis here with the look at the market for the week ending March 15, 2019. And as usual, we bring up a disclaimer, so you should take a look. Note that I'm not a professional investment advisor, and therefore, if you need professional investment advice, you should seek that from someone who is so qualified. I'm a psychologist, and I do this for my own purposes and share it with others on the internet. So let's begin to look at the S&P, for example, on the monthly chart. We don't look at the monthly chart very frequently, but it's useful to do that once in a while to get a very long-term perspective. You can see here that on the monthly chart, we had a piercing bullish candle. Then we had followed by another bullish candle and followed by this doji type candle here. The important thing we should note here is that we closed above this 2815 resistance line, and so we closed at 28.22. That's encouraging from a bullish standpoint, because now there is less overhead resistance to deal with. And so, as I said last week, when we look at the weekly chart, we'll talk more about this. But as I said, I thought the market would find support at the 27-24 area, and that's what we did somewhere around there. But we'll look at that later. Let's take a look at MACD. You see MACD is trending up from below the zero line. And these other indicators are in bullish territory. So let's look at the weekly chart of the S&P 500. One of the first things I like to do on these charts is to look at the moving averages to give us a read on whether or not we're in an uptrend, downtrend, or what. So we have an uptrend because we have the 4 exponential moving average, yellow line above the red line, which is the 9 exponential moving average, and that is above the green line, which is the 30 weighted moving average. The magenta line is really a 50-day moving average, 50 week in this case. So we do have an uptrend. We have a bullish engulfing candle here. Looks pretty much like a bullish engulfing candle. The Bollinger Bands are a little distance away, quite a little distance away. So there's room at the top. We could still go higher from here before we hit the upper Bollinger Band. What else? As we go down to the MACD histogram, we can see that it's still trending up above the zero line. So what we say here is that the bulls are still in charge. And Williams percentile is above the 50% line, the minus 50 line, magenta line. So that's bullish. Some of the rate of change indicator is still below 4%, but the more important indicator here is this RSI 12. When it's above 40, we know we are in a bullish market, not a bearish market. So let's switch now to a daily chart. Here's a daily chart of the S&P 500. You can see that close above the 2815, as mentioned before. The moving averages are clearly above each other, so even clearer here on the daily chart. This is the 200-day, this is the 50-day. Yes. So we are closing above the 200-day, which is quite nice, quite bullish. And if we go to MACD, we can see that MACD is trending up. It's almost in bullish territory once again on the daily chart. And of course, we could see Williams percentile above that minus 50 line, and that's bullish. And the sum of the rate of change indicator just moved recently above the 4% line. So that's great. That's very bullish. Likewise, RSI 12. So the one caveat here, and not a big concern because we are in an uptrend still, but the one little caveat here is that we are hitting the upper Bollinger Band, and it's possible we might see a little bit of a correction here. The other way that I would look at it is that the Bollinger Bands seem to be in a bit of a squeeze. So the other possibility is, of course, that we can ride the upper Bollinger Band up as we come out of the squeeze, which is what happens very frequently. So sometimes we will write it down, write the lower band down, but in this case, the probability of riding this band up seems greater. So let's look at some charts from stockcharts.com, and you can see that This is one we've looked at before many times. It's a new high, new low index, and you can see that it's ticking up again. It went up again last week. So this is a daily chart. So you can see it turned up again, still above the 50 and the 200-day moving average. So that's pretty bullish. Here's the chart with the impulse indicator, Alex Elder's impulse indicator. And as you've heard me say before, it's a censoring indicator. It sort of indicates what we ought not to do rather than what we should do. So when the bar is green, we ought not to go short. We ought to be buying the market or holding what we have. Right now, you can see we switched from a blue bar 2 weeks ago to a green bar last week. We got the okay to go ahead and buy this market. And here are those two charts that I've looked at sometimes from Barron's. This current weekend, we have these two charts. The first one shows that, well, the Dow pulled back and then it rallied up again. Likewise, the Dow Industrials, Dow Transportation pulled back and rallied up again. So they're in lockstep with each other. And utilities, well, they've been riding up, trending up, but they usually do that for the first 6 months of the year anyway. We used to buy NiSource, NI, and hold it until June. Buy it in January, hold it until June. Forgot to do it this year. In any case, that's what the market is showing us. Now on this chart, it's indicated that when the put call ratio is somewhere around 60, and it's now about it's about 70, and when the S&P 100 is at about 125, that it's bullish. So we're right in that territory there, right in that area of bullishness on this chart that compares the put call ratio on the S&P 100. So let's turn to some individual stocks. A few of them, many of them I own, many on this list anyway, I still own. Some of them I'll consider lightening up on and buying something else. I'll discuss that. But let's start with Allergent. This one here, I still own it. So you can see that it had a nice run up, a beautiful run up, pulled back to the 21-day average, became oversold, and it's now moving up again. I like this. Its money flow is pretty good. It's very oversold, and the relative strength is strong, and it's very bullish. I have this one, Cadence Design, but I think you see it's overbought now, so I might consider selling at least part of it here. But you see, these other indicators are still looking very good, and it's very bullish. But I might consider lightening up a little bit on it. Salesforce, CRM, we could see that it was oversold, and it started moving up again. So I still have it. I still own Salesforce. The only weakness here is the money flow, but it seems as though the institutions are beginning to look at it again. You could just see that little movement up here. Facebook, a little problematic because of all the news, all the negative news with Facebook, and it's now overbought. It had a nice little run up here and became overbought. I still own it. I don't know for how long I'll hold it, but I think Facebook is one of those that I might hold for a while. You can see these indicators are all looking pretty good. It's bullish, and except for the fact that it's overbought right now. Fortinet, I still have, and it's oversold, but it really came down all the way here. So I still have it. I might continue to hold it for a little while longer, see how it performs from here. But it seems as though it's very oversold and ready to move up again. I'll see what happens. Adobe took a beating on that on Friday when it came out at earnings. So it came down, but it recovered a bit. I still have it. It's struggling to stay above the 200-day or long-term moving average. Money flow has weakened, but it was very oversold, and now you're getting some buying. The relative strength is stronger, It's a little stronger than it was back here, and it's neutral. It's not a very bullish rating. It's not bullish. Google, I have all of these. I'm going to make some decisions on Google. I might want to buy some other stocks. I want to buy back Visa, and I want to buy back a few other stocks that I'll talk to you about. But I might lighten up on Visa. See, it's oversold. Have a little gain in it, nice gain. And these conditions are looking good here. These indicators are looking good. Relative strength, and it's neutral. But except for the fact that it's now overbought here, might pull back a little, but it's a good long-term holding. I'm going to have some of it anyway. This company, Keysight Electronic Technology, I still have it. It's become very oversold, and it's been holding up here nicely. And it was up about almost 0.77% on Friday. In any case, all these other indicators are looking pretty good, I think. The money flow came down quite a bit, so we'll hope. I'm going to hold it for a little bit. PayPal I love. I bought it back again a little while ago, and I want to hold that, and I want to buy some more buy Visa again. You could see PayPal became oversold, and it was up $1.70 on Friday, 1.7%. So that's looking pretty good. It's neutral. Etsy, well, it pulled back a little bit, but I'm going to hold it. Institutions seem to be buying this thing. Look at the money flow here, and it's becoming oversold again. So if you didn't get to buy it, you might get an opportunity when it comes all the way, comes a little further down the oversold indicator. You can see that the relative strength is pretty strong. It's neutral, and of course, my favorite, Dell. I mentioned Dell before. I made a lot of money with Dell years ago, and I bought it somewhere in here, somewhere when it came down somewhere in here, came down a little more, and now it's nicely trending up. It was very oversold, and it looks as though the institutions are looking at it again. So I like Dell. Those are stocks that I currently own. Let me show you another list. Here's another list that I screen for, and the screen basically asks for to produce a list of stocks that are oversold for the most part, and that have these other criteria met. That is bullish, and the money flow is positive, and the relative strength is positive. So this is the list. You can actually stop the video and take a note of the list here. I own two of these. I own Allegiant, as I mentioned earlier. I own Cadence, and you can see these are the ones here. They include Abbott. Abbott is looking very interesting. Abbott looks very interesting here. You can see it was oversold. It has a momentum breakout alert, and the money flow is good, and also relative strength, and it's also bullish. Abbott I like Cisco again. I used to own Cisco years ago, but Cisco is looking good again. Look at Cisco. Cisco was oversold. It has a momentum breakout alert, and the money flow is pretty good. It's positive, and these other indicators are looking good. So this is this is a list of a screen that I did, and of course MasterCard is another one. You can see it was oversold. See, we're looking for stocks that are mostly oversold with good money flow and good relative strength, and is bullish. So all of these are bullish or very bullish. You can stop the video and make a list and see if you like any of them. I'll see if I want to look at something else. Here's another one that I screened and found this one. This is Univest. It's a bank and thrift company, and it's very, very oversold, and the other indicators are looking very good. It's very bullish. So you might want to put that on a watch list. And here's Visa. I always love Visa, but stupid me sold it somewhere when it came down in here. And now look at it, it's making new highs. Visa is one of those you want to hold. I also like, I'm going to be buying it back. And I also like MasterCard. Well, have a great weekend. Happy Irish St. Patrick's Day to those of you who celebrate. Everybody celebrates St. Patrick's Day. So we'll try and do this again next weekend. Good luck with your trading this week. Goodbye.